impressive margins. Her expertise spans corporate and retail marketing, digital strategy, brand development, and event promotions. She is passionate about building brands that tell compelling stories while creating meaningful connections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝘴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. We welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 is a dynamic brand communication and marketing executive with a proven track record of driving results and delivering excellence. With over a decade of experience, she has developed innovative marketing strategies that have earned award recognitions and boosted sales by impressive margins. Her expertise spans corporate and retail marketing, digital strategy, brand development, and event promotions. She is passionate about building brands that tell compelling stories while creating meaningful connections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. We welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 is a dynamic brand communication and marketing executive with a proven track record of driving results and delivering excellence. With over a decade of experience, she has developed innovative marketing strategies that have earned award recognitions and boosted sales by impressive margins. Her expertise spans corporate and retail marketing, digital strategy, brand development, and event promotions. She is passionate about building brands that tell compelling stories while creating meaningful connections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. We welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 is a dynamic brand communication and marketing executive with a proven track record of driving results and delivering excellence. With over a decade of experience, she has developed innovative marketing strategies that have earned award recognitions and boosted sales by impressive margins. Her expertise spans corporate and retail marketing, digital strategy, brand development, and event promotions. She is passionate about building brands that tell compelling stories while creating meaningful connections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. We welcome 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. 𝗬𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴 is a dynamic brand communication and marketing executive with a proven track record of driving results and delivering excellence. With over a decade of experience, she has developed innovative marketing strategies that have earned award recognitions and boosted sales by impressive margins. Her expertise spans corporate and retail marketing, digital strategy, brand development, and event promotions. She is passionate about building brands that tell compelling stories while creating.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on what part of the world it is that you are joining me from. If you're meeting me for the very first time, you are welcome. My name is 𝗕𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗴. I am the Leadership Growth Enabler and the Learning and Development Specialist. I help individuals and organizations to discover clarity and become the very, very best versions of themselves through coaching and training interventions. And this is one of the many, many interventions it is that we use to make that happen. So wherever it is that you're joining us from, right now we are streaming on multiple platforms. We're presently on YouTube. We're presently live on LinkedIn as well. And we are live on Facebook. So whatever it is that, wherever it is that you're joining us from, please just let us know. And you can, tell us where it is that you are joining us from. Don't be a fly on the wall, right? You can join drop comments, drop conversations. Let us know where it is that you're joining us from. Okay, so this is the Impact Live series that we are having today. And this month, the Impact Live series has been dedicated to the women, right? We're celebrating the women all through this month. Like I always say, I'm not a woman, but I am a woman ally, right? So, and incidentally, today is Mother's Day. So we're also celebrating all the mothers out there. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll be with you very, very shortly. This is when you need to pull in your family, pull in your friends, pull in people that need to hear this conversation. Our guests will be with us very, very shortly. Now, while we're waiting for our guests to come up, 1 second, give me a bit. All right, so just ensuring that everything is working fine on the background. So while we're waiting for our guests to join us, if in case you haven't heard, right, the Impact Leadership Conference is holding, the next edition is holding in London in a few weeks' time, right? For those that have been a part of our conferences before, they have been truly amazing, transformational, right? The next edition of our conference is holding in London, right, on the 26th of April, right? If you want to be a part of that now, it is absolutely free to join. However, registration is compulsory. You need to apply for a free complimentary ticket, right? And our team will get to do the vetting. If and when you are accepted, you would receive details on how to join us. But it's taking place on the 26th of April. Now, you can also join us virtually. So just in case you're not in and around London and you may not be able to join us live there, that's fine. We got you covered. We can bring the conference right to you at your doorstep, in your home, in your living room, wherever it is that you are. All you still need to do is register for that as well. Someone should be dropping a link for you right now in the comments, wherever it is that you're joining us from, either on YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever it is you're joining us from. Someone should be dropping a link for you to be able to apply for that. So I see a number of people dropping comments already. I see 𝗕𝗍𝗵 on YouTube joining us from New York. Thank you very much. I see Amen joining us from Dublin as well. Thank you very much. Let us know where it is that you are joining us from. We're in for an amazing session today. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull in our guest very shortly. But just before I do that, so you have an idea of who exactly it is that I'm pulling up, I'm going to be playing her video profile. And then the next voice you'll be hearing after that will be that of our guest. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and I will see you shortly.
We welcome 𝗪𝗻𝗵𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series. 𝗪𝗻𝗵𝗴 is a dynamic brand communication and marketing executive with a proven track record of driving results and delivering excellence. With over a decade of experience, she has developed innovative marketing strategies that have earned award recognitions and boosted sales by impressive margins. Her expertise spans corporate and retail marketing, digital strategy, brand development, and event promotions. She is passionate about building brands that tell compelling stories while creating meaningful connections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome 𝗪𝗻𝗵𝗴 to the Impact Leadership Live series.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here we have Mrs. 𝗪𝗻𝗵𝗴 that is joining us today. Now, thank you very, very much. We've just gone through your video profile, so we kind of have an idea of who it is that is joining us. So thank you very much for joining this conversation today.
Am I live?
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. We can see and hear you live. Good day. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far.
Yes, I am. Happy Mother's Day to every mother out there. I am excited to be here, and thank you, Mr. 𝗪𝗻𝗶𝗴, for having me on your show this lovely evening. What a lovely day to be here, especially that it's a Mother's Day. How coincident it is, right?
Yes, what a coincidence. It is Mother's Day. We're celebrating you and all the mothers out there. I've been out all day celebrating my wife, and I'm back here. We're doing this again, celebrating every other woman out there. So thank you very much for doing this. Our conversation today, we're talking about leading with purpose, right? Aligning your brand with social impact. So now, speaking about a brand, right? A strong brand starts with clarity. So how do you define what a strong brand is, and what role does purpose play in this definition? So for someone that is wondering, how do you define that? Can you talk to us about that, please?
Sure. Wow, we're diving right into it. Okay, so a strong brand definitely starts with clarity, and a purpose definitely plays a strong role in a strong brand. And the way I see it is actually starting with personality. I always tell brands that I represent, that personality is very strong when it comes to a brand, because within personality, you get to be understood on how you want to be seen, how you want to be acknowledged, how you want to be represented or defined. So once this is clear, the next step is ensuring that this personality is actually very consistently portrayed across all touch points. And that begins the foundation of a strong brand. Now, one thing that I actually, as a brand strategist, hold on to fervently is that a successful brand is one that can be recognized without the brand name. I remember a few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with some of my colleagues, and we were actually talking about brand personality, funny enough. And I mentioned to them that if they think of Coca-Cola and think of Nike or McDonald's or Dove, what kind of words come to them? And some of the words that each and every one of them mentioned was, for Coca-Cola, they mentioned refreshment, and for Nike, they mentioned strength. For McDonald's, they mentioned fast food, and for Dove, they mentioned softness. Now, if I actually presented these words without mentioning the brand names, I'm sure if they list about 1 to 5 different brands, these brands will actually be associated with some of these words, personality words that I mentioned. And the thing about personality is that personality powers the clarity of purpose in branding. And that's what actually defines strength in branding. Thank you.
Wow, that's very impressive. Like you rightly said, a strong brand is one that can be identified even without the name. I mean, once you hear that name, you know what it is about that. That's really fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Now, we know in your line of work, right, you've helped several brands. You've helped them shape their brand and stand out. So can you share, for someone that is listening right now, can you share a framework or maybe the key pillars that you use to build a brand identity from ground up? So from someone that is thinking, okay, I need to start up to build my brand, what are the key things that they should look out for?
Sure. For me, there's several key pillars, but for me, there's 3 that I really hold on to as a brand strategist, and it's brand story. Because if you have a compelling brand story, it's really good for the brand. A compelling brand story actually defines the brand's purpose and its unique selling point. It helps to set the foundation for everything that follows it. And the thing about brand story is that it stems from what your brand is all about. Because as a brand, everybody wants to know why you exist. Everybody wants to know what makes you unique. Why should I leave brand B, C, or D and come to brand A? So it's very important to have a very strong brand story. Now, in the world of brand, it's also important to have a strong team, because a brand is only as strong as the people behind it. Let me repeat that. A brand is only as strong as the people behind it. Who is responsible for bringing the stories to life? Whether it's marketing or design or product development or even customer service, it could be any area of the brand. Who is responsible for bringing this brand to life? Every role contributes to shaping the brand's identity. Now, the third for me is target audience. Who are we speaking to? Who do you want to connect with? Who are you enticing? Understanding the brand understanding your audience actually helps to refine the messaging and the tone, and especially helps to guide the brand positioning. Now, once all these pillars are in place, it's we can then decide on how to tell the brand story. Should your story be driven by emotions? Should it be driven by your brand promise, or can it be anchored by a clear value proposition? So it can actually vary, but something that I always say is this element needs to stay consistent, because it helps in crafting the brand and helps the brand to truly stand out. So those are my own key pillars that I work with. A brand story, the team behind the brand, and a good, clear target audience.
Amazing. I mean, you've just given us some value there. So it's important to talk about the brand story. So anyone listening there, you're thinking of how do I get to build my brand from startup? She's giving you the framework there. Start with a fantastic brand story, a strong brand story. Have your team, because the brand without the team, it's useless, right? And then the target audience. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, we're talking about, social impact a lot today, right? Many brands confuse purpose with generic CSRs. A lot of companies, in fact, I know a lot of organizations that they do what is called CSR just to tick the box to say we've done that, right? So how do you help brands identify a purpose that's authentic to them, and not just by ticking a box, and make it profitable for them? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, a lot of brands actually do confuse purpose with CSR, and it's very funny that you asked that question. I'm going to talk about two different brands, and one of the brands that I'm going to talk about is a brand that I worked with before, and the second brand I'm going to talk about in my example is the brand I currently work with. So the first brand I'm going to talk about that I used to work with is Access Bank, and the reason why I'm using them as an example is because when I first joined Access Bank in 2016, I remember a couple of questions that were asked mostly back then with the team that I worked with was, what are we really representing? Who are we? Because I remember back then, Access Bank used to chunk out a lot of contents and a lot of information and just a lot, But then we were not really we're not really strong on focusing on what we were all about. But we came together as a team, and then we decided, what do we want to be known for? And three things that came up was sustainability. Access Bank was very strong on sustainability. That was actually one of the very strong identity. And they're strong on women empowerment. And Access Bank love arts and entertainment. So with this clarity, the bank was able to differentiate its purpose from the CSR initiative, because its purpose was to cater to the sustainability side and women empowerment and its love for art and entertainment. So it was able to separate its CSRs from its purpose, rather than just executing random CSR projects. The bank decided to align them with its core purpose, making them more impactful and authentic. Now, at the company where I am right now, and that is Multigate, it's a multinational technology company that provides cross-border infrastructure and treasury management solutions, where I am currently Director of Marketing and Public Relations. Now, at Multigate, our purpose is rooted in the passion that drives our existence. We empower businesses with seamless financial solutions. From this passion, our CSR initiative will naturally flow, and ensuring that we align our brand's mission rather than being just another checkbox of activity, right? So those are two different businesses. My advice to any brand is let your CSR be driven by your purpose. When your initiatives stem from what truly defines you, they become more impactful, they become more sustainable, and then your brand becomes unique to you. After all this, if you consider all this, it makes things a lot easier to differentiate who you are from who you want to be as a CSR, and for your CSR. So you have your purpose separated from your CSR. I mean, there's something I always say, if you give a tailor an outfit, right? The tailor will, and the 5 people that are wearing the same exact outfit, the outfit is not going to fit the same way. There's no way the outfit will fit the same way, but the outfit will fit in a way that is unique to every individual's body. Now, that's what makes you more profitable. Your uniqueness is what makes you profitable. Thank you.
That's a very valuable tips. I hope brands and brand ambassadors out there are actually listening to some of these things, because this is very key. A lot of companies, a lot of brands are really not doing this, being able to separate their purpose from just generic CSR. Thank you so very much. Now, how can socially impactful initiatives actually strengthen a brand's reputation? So what is the purpose of this social initiatives? How can they strengthen the brand's reputation, their loyalty, and the bottom line? Because hey, that's the main reason why they're in business, the bottom line, right? How can this help them? And if you have any examples from your own work, probably with the previous brands you've worked with, we would appreciate if you could share those with us as well.
Oh yeah, excuse me. I'll be very excited to share examples. So socially impacted initiatives actually help brands build trust. It helps brand build confidence. It helps brands build consistency. I'm going to be using that word a lot. So consistency is very key to brands. Social impactful initiative also helps with being reliable. It also helps to project your innovation. So when a brand is intentional about making a difference, whether through sustainability or financial inclusion or community development, it creates a deeper emotion. Let me reverse that. It creates a deeper emotional connection with the audience. People support brands that align with their values. So it's very important to align with your value. For instance, at 𝗪𝗍𝗶𝗵, our cross-border infrastructure solutions are designed to empower businesses, particularly in emerging markets. By addressing real pain points, we aren't just offering services for the sake of it. We're not just creating solutions for the sake of it. We are creating meaningful impact, which in turn strengthens customers' trust and fuels long-term profitability. Another example I can give you briefly are 2 examples, such as, like I said, from my past work and all, the 𝗪𝗶𝘁𝗵 pitchathon, and also the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. These weren't just CSR efforts, they became a defining pillar of the bank's identity. So that being said, purpose-driven initiatives aren't just feel-good actions. They're not just for the sake of it. Another thing is that they're not just created just because I'm a brand and I just want to be known. They are strategic business tools, and it's actually very, very important to be able to attract your customers naturally, by aligning your brands with your values. Thank you.
So like you rightly said, if they get this thing right, they would naturally attract the right kind of customers that they need. This is very, very valuable. And for someone that is listening right now, and just so you don't get confused about, oh, she's talking about the big brands and all of that, you yourself, even if you're not, an organization and all of that, you yourself, you are a brand, right? You are a person, and your brand is a personality as well. So it's important that you get these things right from scratch. Now, what is a process of aligning a brand's core values with a social cause in a way that it feels organic? Because sometimes it feels like, for some people, like I said, just ticking a box, right? How can we align the core values of the brand, or in this case, if it's an individual as well, how do you get to align your core values with the social cause as well, so that it doesn't feel, it feels organic and not forced or opportunistic? Please talk to us about this.
Okay, so a brand's core value a brand's core value actually are the essence of how it is perceived. It shapes the identity and the reputation and actually the impact of a brand. If a brand is well defined, by its story, like I mentioned before, it's good for a brand to have a very strong, compelling story. If a brand has a well-defined story and a clear sense of purpose, its social impact initiatives should naturally align with that foundation, rather than just feeling like an afterthought or a marketing ploy. It's actually very, very important for a brand to stay very authentic. It's a brand that prioritizes a seamless cross-border transaction, for instance, might invest in education and empowerment programs for small businesses looking to scale internationally, right? And a brand that possibly specializes in financial infrastructure and digital payment would focus on initiatives that support fintech startups or programs that enhances access to global financial markets. So I'm not going to say because one brand is doing it a certain way, then I need to do it the way they do it, right? Ultimately, a strong brand doesn't just attach itself to a social cause. It embodies itself with it's a DNA. A social cause has to be a part of the brand. It has to be, it's a uniform. That's how I would call it. So when a brand's when a brand's impact is an extension of its purpose, it doesn't just resonate with the audiences. It creates realness and it creates long-lasting change. So again, it's about being authentic. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's really key. So authenticity is key for any brand out there. I mean, that's really key. I'm going to go to that. We have a question for you on YouTube, right? This is from Faith, and Faith is joining us from Belfast. And Faith says, how do you build a brand when you have multiple interests, right? So some people have interest in several different things, right? And she's asking, how do you get to build a brand when you have multiple interests? Is there any advice you have for Faith that is listening right now?
Absolutely, Faith. How are you over there? So Faith, one of the things that I would tell you is find where your area of strength is. When you know what your area of strength is, then you focus on that. For instance, I'm a woman of many talents. I have so many things, so many ideas. I come with so many. When I tell you so many, I come with a lot. But what I tend to do is focus on where my strength is the most. Once you focus yourself where your strength is the most, then you begin to align yourself slowly but surely, and then you expand whatever that strength is. So that way you're not like all over the place. Like you're not a spider with 8 legs and then you're trying to spread your legs everywhere. Just focus, streamline your strength and all this talents, streamline it and stick which one best defines you as an individual.
All right, thank you so much, Faith. I hope that helped you right there. Okay, so now a lot of these things that we're talking about, like I said, I'm conscious of the fact that some people that are on this call right now that maybe watching this replay afterwards may not be people that are working in multinationals that have great brands, right? Some of them are startups, some of them are SMEs, and they have limited resources. So what is the first step you would advise them to build a recognizable and a trusted brand? So for someone that is listening, maybe someone like Faith or anybody that's listening right now, she doesn't have a multinational, but she has a startup that she wants to build. Where should she start from?
So I'm very passionate about SMEs, by the way. So this is a fantastic question that you brought my way now. And I hope my response will be able to assist someone out there. So one of the things that I tell SMEs, a lot of friends in the world in the SME line with limited resources is social media is your best friend. Social media is your best friend. You don't need to spend money or any, resources other than your time on social media. But before you start promoting and going on social media. Don't say Yomi said social media and you're just there going on social media. No, you still need to sit yourself down and ask yourself, what does my brand represent? What is the purpose of my brand? What is my brand? What story is my brand telling? You know, when I mentioned it earlier, it's not only about big industries or businesses. It trickles down to SMEs also. Who is your target audience? You know, and how does your product and service solve their problem? What is the unique selling points for your brand? You know, since your budget is super tight, right? Your product or service should be your strongest brand ambassador. Let me repeat that. Since your budget is tight, your product or your service should be your strongest brand ambassador. Yes. Let your quality speak for itself. You know, let the work speak for itself. Another thing is word of mouth marketing is very powerful, and it's actually often underutilized. A lot of SMEs don't make good use of word of mouth, especially SMEs with low tight budget. So what you need to do is encourage your satisfied customers to spread the word on your behalf, leave testimonials, and refer others. I know a lot of SMEs get customers that says, "Don't post me, don't push me." It's fine. You don't have to. You need to find a strategic way of actually promoting testimonials without necessarily, you know, mentioning your customers because of privacy reasons, you know. So now the next thing to do is to establish a visual identity. Remember, we're not spending, we're keeping it very tight, you know. You don't need to, you know, you don't need to have big budget to do any of this. AI tools are out there now. Even me as a specialist, I use AI tools. There are design platforms like Canva that can also create support for you. No matter how, you may not be as professional, but Canva is platforms like Canva are very easy to use. So you can use it to create like your logos and your identity and your branding materials. Again, remember, we're not even spending, and already we have a social media platform. Already we have customer base. Already we have identities, right? And now you need to leverage on social proof. Gather, again, testimonials from happy clients. Don't go to clients that are like, but you know what you can do with clients like that? You can actually fix the problems. And when you fix their problems, you can then tell a story about the problem and now the solution, because now you are the solution. So that's another story to push on your platform that will project businesses for you. So use what you have to the best of your knowledge and to the best that you can. Again, your product and your service is your brand ambassador. So use it well.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. So there you go. For SMEs out there and startups out there, she's giving you fantastic things that you can use. You may not have the large resources to be able to prosecute some of these things, but she's giving you things you can use. Social media is free. I mean, that's democracy of information, right? Everybody has access to social media. That's one key thing that you can use. She also talked about word of mouth. A lot of us underemphasize that. I mean, it's still a very, very powerful tool that you can use. The word of mouth, it doesn't cost anything to speak to anybody about it, right? That's great. And she talked about social proof as well. It helps to build your brand. Statistics show that people would rather listen to a testimonial. People would rather buy from you when they listen to someone else that had experienced it from you than from watching ads and all of that on social media, right? So powerful. Get social proofs out there. And then she talked about a lot of tools today that can make these things easy for you. And she mentioned quite a few of them there. So that's really very fantastic. Thank you so very much. Now, how do you get to balance consistency in branding with the need to stay relevant in this fast-changing market? Because we're in a very fast-paced market. So how do you get to balance that level of consistency with the need to stay relevant?
Wow. So to stay relevant, right? It's a ripple effect. And it starts with that word you mentioned. It starts with consistency. Consistency stems from a deep passion for your brand mission. Now, that passion fuels an always-on mindset, a constant drive to engage, innovate, and stay present in your audience's lives. So let me take that again. Like I said, it's the ripple effect. So consistency comes from deep passion, right? Your passion fuels always-on mindset. Your always-on mindset helps you to continuously engage and innovate and stay present in the minds of your audiences, right? So when your brand is consistently in the front of your audiences, it helps to maintain sorry, I'm trying to use a word and it's not coming. It helps to build loyalty. That's the word. So it helps to build loyalty and it helps to build trust. And a trusted brand naturally fosters from loyalty. And loyalty is what sustains relevance, right? So regardless of the shifts in trend, it doesn't matter if it's past days or the economy is the way it is or whatever, just stay relevant and your brand will continuously stay and stick with you. Now, being consistent does not mean you need to stand still or focus on the look or be rigid. No, your brand's core should remain intact, quite all right. But your approach must evolve. It must evolve. It's important that your approach evolves. It's important that you follow the trends. You know what I'm saying? It's important that your consumers understand that you understand them. So your consumers cannot be going, the conversation about your consumers cannot be going right and you're going left. So you need to be very, very aligned with your consumers while you stay consistent. Keep showing up, keep adapting, and your brand will stay top of mind no matter how fast-paced the market moves. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Very, very valuable tips that you're giving us here. Now, personally, I like to, a lot of people look at success stories of people or brands and all of that. That's good. But I personally am very interested in the failures of these big brands or these successful people, because in their failures, you would learn why they succeeded, right? And I've always said to people that it's usually said experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't necessarily mean your own experience. You can learn from the experiences of other people, right? So in your own experience, what's the most common branding mistakes that you see companies make, so that we don't go making the same mistakes as well? If you've experienced it and you've helped them to deal with it, what do you advise? So how can we avoid them? So what are those common mistakes you see, and then how can we avoid them when we're building a successful brand?
Thank you so much for that question. In my experience, I hear the emphasis on in my experience, and I'll be very happy to talk about my experience. One major mistake I see companies make is not prioritizing their employees' interests. The employees' interest is not well prioritized. If a brand truly understands its touch points, they would know for sure that employees' interest is very key, because employees are the first and most vital touch points. Employees are the brand's strongest ambassadors and influencers. They shape the brand's reputation. They drive its success. And ultimately, they determine how the brand should be perceived. They can make the brand, they can break the brand. When companies invest in their employees through trainings, career employees, when I'm saying companies, this includes SMEs. A hairstylist can have employees too, right? Excuse me. A hairstylist can have employees too. So don't think that I'm talking about just, big companies. I'm actually talking about all aspect of businesses, right? So when companies invest in their employees through trainings, career developments, recognitions, and empower them, right? They create an environment where employees feel valued and motivated. They feel engaged by this business. And by doing that, we're all human. they push harder, they work harder. And from my experience, one company that I remember from my past experience, rather, from my past experience, I remember that I actually had it right, and actually also included it in their mission statement. And the mission statement says setting standards for sustainable business practices that unleash the talents of employees. Unleash the talent of employees. So the business, there's a focus on the business, but the business is created to unleash the talent of the employees, because when the employees deliver, the businesses they progress, right? They grow. And then it's also mentioned in their core value. It said one of the core value is empower employees. And one thing about mission statements and core values is that they're actions that you just need to practice. You can create a mission statement and a value and core values, and you don't even practice it. And you can, for instance, if I say my name is Yomi, and I'm a quiet person, I'm sure a lot of my friends, family members, and colleagues that are on this program right now will possibly laugh. You know why they will laugh? Because they know I'm not a quiet person. So if my core value says quiet, and I'm a very uppity, person, I'm not going to be doing exactly what my core value says, because that's not my DNA. So it is good for a business to have a good DNA that speaks to what they need to practice. And that's what this business did. It mentioned the talents of its employee, and it also mentioned empowering its employee, and they're doing it. So businesses out there, please empower your employees. These are mistakes that they make. They focus on the brand so much and forget that these employees are the ones that are making the brand. So that's my feedback to that. Thank you.
Fantastic. So brands listening out there, SMEs as well, prioritize your employees. I mean, and when you talk about that, I always remember Richard Branson and the way he prioritizes his employees, the mindset around it, and it's really, really fantastic that you're mentioning this as well. And speaking about, you talked about your family and colleague that might be on the call right now. There's one of your family that is on the call right now, Creative 𝗕𝗍𝗵. I hope I pronounced that properly. And she's been rooting, oh, there goes my auntie, yo, yeah. So yes, thank you so much for that. Okay, now talking about the brand success. One of the ways brands measured success is revenue. But how do you now measure the strength of a brand apart from revenue? Revenue is fine, revenue is good, but revenue is not all, right? So how can you now measure the success of the brand beyond the revenue?
Okay, so yeah, you're absolutely right. A brand strength is definitely not just about the revenue. Definitely not. A brand that thinks that its strength is all about its revenue is actually making a mistake. It goes beyond numbers. A brand without trust is setting itself for failure. You know what I'm saying? And trust is okay. Trust for me is a super glue for branding, and a brand that cannot create a strong recognition for itself is not doing it right, because that's another major factor in measuring. So trust, recognition. Customer advocacy is also very strong. Do you know how interesting it will be for your brand when your customers are like really defending your brand, or even making corrections of misinformation about your brand? It just shows the loyalty that they've built with you. That's customer advocacy. And one that is really that I hold on to strongly, that comes at top of mind for me is brand equity. Brand equity is very, very important. I'm sure a lot of ladies on this platform can agree with me that luxury brands like Chanel, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Gucci have strong brand equity, because some people here on this platform actually will stand and line up for a Gucci, for the next line of Gucci, and line up. And you see, Let me even go away from luxury brands. Let me go to tech products. iPhone. A lot of us on this platform use iPhone. And I'm very sure a lot of us on this platform use Samsung. And I'm sure a lot of us on this platform know that Samsung's camera is actually very good. It doesn't need filter. And a lot of us that use iPhone knows that most of us use filter, right? But we would never admit it that Samsung's camera is better than iPhone. We would never. That's brand equity. We would stand by our brand. And I'm one of them. iPhone camera is better than Samsung camera. Excuse me. Thank you.
Fantastic. I mean, the brand loyalty for the Apple product is something that should be studied even in the university, right? You would find out that regardless of what you say, regardless of how you might feel, if a new iPhone is going to be launched, you would see queues outside the store, people waiting to get it. That is some high level of brand loyalty. Like I said, it should be studied even at a master's level to understand the concepts behind it. That's really fantastic. Now, I'm enjoying this conversation, but we need to gradually start bringing this home. Now, the main focus of this webinar is to empower the women. We help minoritized communities, right? Ethnic minorities, gender minorities. So the whole month of March, we're looking at gender minorities for the women, right? So what's your advice out there to women and minoritized professionals in general looking to build personal brands that would open doors in corporate spaces? Because I work with a number of them and I know that many of them struggle to break into the corporate spaces, especially at the initial stages. So what advice would you give to such people right now?
First of all, once again, happy Mother's Day to all the women out there. Since we're taking today's Mother's Day, it wasn't planned, by the way.
Yes.
And my advice, and if I start mentioning, a lot of people on here will say, yeah, they will agree with me. Number one that I would say is love yourself. Because you know what? It's not about the corporate space. It's about any space that you are in. Love yourself. Personal brand is very important, and it starts with loving yourself. Secondly, understand yourself. Understand yourself. Know who you are. Don't let anyone define you for you. Define yourself the way you want to be seen and defined. Know yourself well. Once you know these three things, loving, understanding, and knowing yourself, it's very easy to put together your story. Because if you remember when we started this conversation, I mentioned that a brand is actually good when it has a good, compelling story to tell about itself. That's where it starts from. It's a foundation. Once you have the story for yourself, the way you want yourself to be composed, then let's get started on how we want to project into the corporate space or any other space or anywhere you want to be. Because guess what? You would know how to align yourself for the right place and the right space the moment you know this. Me, for instance, let me give you an example for myself. It took me a very long time to understand that I needed to have a mission statement for my personal self. It took me a very long time to know that I needed to have core values for my personal self. I used to think it was just for the brands that I deal with. It was while I started working with these brands that I realized that I am a brand myself. Yes, I'm an ambassador of a brand, but I also represent myself. How do I want to be seen in the spaces that I go into? And my mission, I would say it to you. I boldly say it to myself all the time. And I'm actually living my mission. It is to build a strong foundation of success that makes me valuable and impactful in life and in my community. I'll read it again to you, or I'll say it again to you. So my mission is to build a strong foundation of success that makes me valuable and impactful in life and my community. And my core values are just 4. 1 is serving and trusting God. 2 is self-love. Yes, I love myself so much. You don't understand. self-love and self-empowerment. Number 3 is networking, collaboration, and connecting people, which I love doing a lot. I live my core values, I live my mission. And number 4 is motivation and inspiration. If you ask anybody that know me well, they would nod their head to this core values, because I try to live my values. Like I mentioned earlier, brands should learn to align their brands with their values. Personal branding isn't about being, who the world wants you to be or what the world expects you to be. It's about who you truly are, unapologetically you. You're not even trying to please anybody. Please yourself first. I'm not saying to disrespect, but I'm saying please yourself first. Align yourself the way you want to confidently align yourself. Then you would realize that when you own this identity boldly, when you own it, when you wear it as a uniform every day, you don't need to wait for doors to open for you anymore. Yeah, you don't even need for doors to open for you. Why? Because you begin to build your own doors and you begin to walk through it. So I hope this actually answers the question for you. Thank you
so very much. And I was jumping with excitement in my seat when you talked about how you have your personal, values, your core values, your mission, and all of that. I have a coaching group that I work with. I have a group of people that I work with, and from time to time, and incidentally, for the past 2-3 weeks thereabout, we've been talking about businesses, but what we've been focusing on, like I said, the foundation of every business is not the profit and all of that. It's the reason behind the business. So we've spent the past 2-3 weeks looking at everybody developing their own individual mission statement, vision statement, and core values. And like you rightly said, some people will feel, oh, I'm not an organization, why do I need this? Seated inside every human being, you have 37 trillion cells, right? And we know that a cell is a living soul in itself. So I look at that as you having 37 trillion employees, and they're organized into 72 organs of your body. So you have 37 trillion employees and 72 branches all over the world, so to say. And you think you don't need mission statement, vision statement, and core values to drive those 37 million employees? So everybody should have that. And thank you so very much. And my own organization as well, our core value is making the world a much better place to live in. Our mission statement is empowering individuals and organizations to discover clarity and become the very best versions of themselves through coaching and training interventions. And our core values are leadership, excellence, accountability, and purposefulness. And incidentally, we're talking about purpose today. So thank you very much. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to shut this down because I'm enjoying this conversation. But before we let you go, one final question. If you could give one piece of advice to someone building a brand today, what will that be?
It's very simple. I'll just tell you, stay consistent to stay relevant. That's it. Stay consistent to stay relevant.
Powerful words there. Stay consistent to stay relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our conversation. It's been so amazing have Miss Yomi Abiola dishing out. We've just gone through a masterclass on branding, right? So for corporates out there, for brand organizers out there, for individuals, SMEs, corporates, this is something that you need to listen to over and over again. All the conversations are going to be here. We're going to have it left on our YouTube page, on our LinkedIn, wherever it is that you're joining us from. It's going to be right there. You need to be able to go through these things again and again. On behalf of myself and everybody on this call, and even those that watch the replay, Miss Abiola, thank you so very much for taking our time out of your very, very busy and tight schedule to be able to be here. I know how long it is. We followed up with you to ensure that you give us some time, at least give us this time here. And finally, we are here on a very special day. Like you said earlier, it wasn't planned that we're going to do this on Mother's Day, but it just happened that this was the time that you were available, and we're so excited to be here. So thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually very excited for sharing your platform with me to be able to do this today. And I look forward to doing more and beyond this anytime, any day. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to the audiences that are out there listening to me. And I hope I have been like great for you. And I've been able to answer some areas in branding that you've been looking forward to hear. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That has been our webinar for today, and that wraps up our webinars in commemoration of the International Women's Day. We still have a lot of activities out there to support you as much as possible. Like I said earlier, the next edition of our Impact Leadership Conference is holding on the 26th of April. It's holding in London, right? If you want to be a part of that, it is absolutely free. You can still get complimentary tickets. We have limited complimentary tickets because we manage the space that it is that we have. If you're interested in that, just click on the link. Someone should have dropped the links for you in the comments right now, or just do us a DM. We'll be more than glad to send you a link where you can apply for a ticket. When we go through that application process, if you're successful, you would receive details. If you want to join us virtually as well, if you're not in and around London and you can't make it there, that's fine. We can also bring the conference to wherever you are. It's a hybrid event, so you can join us virtually, but you also need to apply for a ticket. So someone should have dropped that for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been amazing hosting you once again today, and I will end with all I always say to you. Remember, there is greatness on your inside, and the world is waiting for you to birth and manifest your greatness. Go out there and be profitable, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
We welcome 𝗬𝗱𝗶𝗵 to the Impact Leadership Live series. 𝗬𝗱𝗶𝗵 is a dynamic brand communication and marketing executive with a proven track record of driving results and delivering excellence. With over a decade of experience, she has developed innovative marketing strategies that have earned award recognitions and boosted sales by impressive margins. Her expertise spans corporate and retail marketing, digital strategy, brand development, and event promotions. She is passionate about building brands that tell compelling stories while creating meaningful connections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome 𝗬𝗱𝗶𝗵 to the Impact Leadership Live series.